1993, Demolition Man was distributed by Warner Brothers. The film's plot was that in the beginning of the film it was set in 1996. Criminal Simon Phoenix holds a group of hostages within an abandoned building. Los Angeles Police Department Sergeant John Spartan conducts a search. After the search yields no location of the hostages, he decides to lead an unauthorized assault of the building to capture him. During the assault, Phoenix sets off explosives to destroy the building, and after the explosions, bodies are later discovered within the collapsed rubble. Simon Phoenix claims that John Spartan knew about the locations of the hostages and decided to launch the attack regardless of the situation. But Spartan doesn't agree with this accusation. Regardless of who is right or wrong, due to the politically and socially sensitive incident and all of the deaths that occurred, both men are sentenced to gaol imprisonment. California used their new practice of quote-unquote California cryo penitentiary, as inmates are cryogenically frozen and exposed during the period of being frozen to subliminal rehabilitation techniques through their mind during the time that they're frozen. Later, in the year of 2032, the mega city of San Angeles, a combination of the former Californian cities of Los Angeles, San Diego, and Santa Barbara, is a peaceful, utopian, calm society, but all aspects of violence, both good and bad, have been eliminated, leaving this said society lacking the desire or need to express anger at all. Simon Phoenix is later released by a Dr. Raymond Cocteau with ulterior motives. Phoenix later kills Cocteau, and John Spartan has to stop Phoenix with the help of Lieutenant Linnea Huxley, one of the officers that voiced concerns and had John Spartan released. Huxley was also an officer fascinated by the culture and attitudes of the late 20th century. Through events in the film, Spartan and Huxley eventually deal with the submissive future, and Spartan kills Phoenix. At the end of the movie, John Spartan remarks to the other police that they'll survive and that human expression and emotion aren't bad things and should not be suppressed, that they give life meaning and value, as he and Huxley kiss and leave together. Demolition Man was a film with a budget of roughly 45 to 77 million US dollars and had a profit of 159 million US dollars. The film was considered one of the best of the early 1990s, and the plot and premise of the film were often spoken about after the film's release in the early to mid-1990s, with the then new invasiveness of technology permeating, saturating everyday American life. But one of the most referred to questions that viewers of the film had in mind is the fate of John Spartan's family, and specifically his daughter. In the film, when Spartan is revived, he mentioned multiple times that he had a wife and daughter. This wasn't resolved in the film due to the scenarios depicted on the situation that occurred with the characters. But why? Theories have been discussed through online sources as to the reasons. According to information now known, the script of the film Demolition Man went through a variety of changes. Details are now known that there were more than a few scenes which were filmed, but were eventually removed from the final version of the film. These weren't considered deleted scenes, but just didn't fit with the visual portrayal of the film that was being put together at the time in terms of editorial staff decisions relating to the movie. The film, known for its intensive graphic violence, was later watered down in terms of severity. The film was originally more than 2 hours long before content were removed in various degrees through intensive editing. As mentioned, John Spartan commented that he had a wife and daughter, but they weren't there for him when he was cryogenically imprisoned, or barely mentioned in the film, or depicted in the film. But this isn't true. According to the novelization of the film and comic adaptation at the time, there were scenes where John Spartan says goodbye to his wife and daughter, who were present before the cryogenic imprisonment, and his daughter by the name of Kate, whom at the time was a young girl, but the original interpretation for John Spartan's family was falsely changed through revisions of the script, and by the time of the final version of the screenplay was implemented, his wife and daughter were essentially written out of the script without any real mention of them later in the film, or closure, or even clause with them being renunciated as characters, or even acknowledgement of them throughout the film. They were just written out or not mentioned at all. Through the reworks of the script, John Spartan's daughter of Kate is actually in the film. Due to situations in the film, one of the sewer dwellers is actually depicted as John Spartan's daughter, but any real mentions of it were completely removed or deleted from the film, and the only way viewers can learn of this fact is to see deleted scenes or look into what was edited from the film. Another scene of her was deleted is that during the wasteland battle scene, deleted footage has her asking who he is before she is revealed to be his daughter, but as a middle-aged woman. That's why when the battle began, he was seen protecting her throughout the siege. But due to the information of her being his daughter removed, viewers of the film thought John Spartan was protecting a random woman. And at the very end of the film, she actually approaches John and Leanna and makes a comment about possibly seeing each other again and rebuilding their father-daughter relationship, but it was also removed. Conflicting sources have it that in the earliest drafts or screenplays of Demolition Man, Leanna Huxley is the daughter of John Spartan, but this was later removed and changed. Be it true or not, original version or later version, public perception of the relationship between the two of these characters is somewhat of an error of the script, not technically resolving the issue within the standard version of the film. Due to film editing and various features being removed from the film, popular opinion had it that through error, some people who had watched the film resolved that Leanna Huxley was indeed the daughter of John Spartan. Perhaps in the original versions of the script as mentioned, but not in the final version due to lack of explanation throughout the film or with character dialogue or information throughout the film, and the fact that Huxley was the only woman to be constantly shown in the film, the accidental correlation between John Spartan's written out of script family and viewer desire to have the plot resolved or even connected had the accidental correlation. On a final aspect of discussion, there were originally plans for a sequel to a Meryl Streep play as John Spartan's daughter, but due to various reasons, the sequel was abandoned. Sometimes a character can be forgotten because they were simply written out of the script and was an error in the story, but few were able to notice these details.